You are Locked On Yankees Postcast, part of Locked On Sports New York on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
An instant classic in the fall classic, and one we won't soon forget for all the wrong reasons. Game one of the 2024 World Series in the books, and the Yankees lose. They lose in heartbreaking fashion. Final score 6-3 in 10 innings. A walk-off grand slam for the hobbled Freddie Freeman. Meanwhile, Giancarlo Stanton doing everything in his power to propel the Bombers, but it just wasn't enough. LA, that long ball ultimately proved to be the difference. 6-3 in 10, a walk-off grand slam. Now the Dodgers have a 1-0 series lead in the fall classic. Hello, everyone. I'm Jay Berman. If you're a New Yorker, you might recognize my work. If not, welcome aboard. I've spent more than 2 decades in the biz, everything from TV to web to radio. You can follow me on X at Jay Berman. That's Jayberman. Welcome to the Locked On Yankees postcast, both on the Locked On Sports New York YouTube channel and the Locked On Yankees podcast feed. The postcast gives you a place to hang out after every single Yankees game. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. We'll chat everything. Garrett Cole, who made the start for the Bombers, lasted 6+. His first World Series appearance in a Yankees uniform. Not much from Soto or Judge, but as we said, plenty from Stanton, who continues to flourish in October. That's his time to shine. The pen bounces back and comes up big in the end. Unfortunately, we got to the 10th when things got real ugly. All that coming up on the postcast. This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. Download the app today. Use code LOCKEDONMLB to win $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Run your game. All right, we'll get right to it. A heartbreaking defeat. 6-3 the final score in 10 innings. Yanks scored a run at the top of the 10th to take a 3-2 lead. They turned it over to the combination of Jake Cousins and Nestor Cortez, and you know what happened after that. Let's replay the 10th inning. First, in the top of the inning, of course, Jazz Chisholm steals second and steals third. Volpe to short. Edman can't make the double play. Rizzo's forced out at second. Volpe is safe at first. And, of course, coming home, Jazz. That makes it 3-2. So a manufactured run courtesy of Jazz with 2 stolen bases. Unfortunately, the Yankees could not turn to Luke Weaver at that point. Instead, they go to Jake Cousins. 1 career save. That came this year in August against the White Sox, his old team. So he puts 2 on. Boone then goes to Nestor Cortez to face Shohei. Cortez had not pitched since September 18th, 37 days on the sideline. And what did Shohei do? Very first pitch pops up to left field. Verdugo makes the running catch, falls into the stands, holds on, obviously. And that became the second out of the inning. The Yanks would then walk the bases loaded. They would not pitch to Mookie Betts, which obviously proved to be a mistake. Nestor Cortez grooves one to Freddie Freeman, and that's really the end of the night. A walk-off grand slam. It's the first walk-off grand slam in World Series history. Nearly 700 World Series games have been played, and this is the first time there was a walk-off grand slam. By the way, 3 straight World Series game ones now have gone to extra innings, 3 straight years. Again, this one 6-3 in 10 when it looked like the Yankees had stolen away game 1. The Dodgers do it right back. All right, before we take a breath here, this is the 12th time the 2 sides have met in a fall classic, and it's shaping up to be exactly that, classic. That made it the most common postseason matchup in Major League Baseball history. Really interesting stuff. Yankees won 8 of the previous 11 matchups, but the Dodgers won the most recent showdown all the way back in 1981. 43 years since the 2 teams have met in the World Series. Both championship series, and this is where we tie it into tonight, both championship series, the ALCS and the NLCS, no game, not one game in either of those series featured both starters going at least 5 innings. That changed tonight. Flaherty went 5 1/3. Cole went 6+. So again, the first time since the divisional round that we saw both starters going at least 5 innings. All right, so you want to talk about the managerial moves. Obviously, Glaber made a mistake. He was pulled for defensive reasonings late in the game. Do you worry about the decision to go to Nestor Cortes, who again hasn't thrown in nearly 40 days? Nestor Cortes needed 2 pitches, and there was a home run. Cortes exactly threw 2 pitches, the blown save, the loss to Cousins. Luke Weaver also blew a save. As for Garrett Cole, and we'll talk about Garrett Cole, and we'll talk about Aaron Boone. Cole, 6+, 4 hits, 1 earned, no walks, 4 Ks, through just 88 pitches. The question now is, would you have left him in? They pulled him for Clay Holmes, who threw just 2/3 of an inning, 5 pitches, was lucky to get out of it. Tommy Kahnle did his job. Luke Weaver did his job. Unfortunately, Cousins and Cortes could not get the job done, each splitting up the grand slam, each getting banged for 2 earned runs. And again, the Yankees managed just 4 strikeouts, not a single strikeout from the bullpen tonight. And again, Freddie Freeman's 423-foot blast has the Dodgers in front, 1-0. As we mentioned, the huge home run for Giancarlo Stanton, and that was the narrative for the better part of 2 to 2.5 hours. Stanton, 11 career home runs in 26 games at Dodger Stadium. That after his 2-run home run in the 6th, it was 412 feet, nearly 117 miles per hour off the bat. The hardest hit ball in World Series StatCast history. The 17th career postseason home run for Stanton. His last 5 postseason hits are all home runs. He's homered in 4 straight games. He has just been brilliant. And unfortunately for the Yankees, what they're going to start doing is ball 4 to Giancarlo Stanton, especially if the guys in front of and behind him cannot get the job done. We talked about Cole, who, of course, grew up a Yankee fan. Who could forget this sign? We talk about Jack Flaherty, the Dodgers starter in Game 1, a Dodger fan growing up. So you had a Yankee fan on the mound for the Yankees, a Dodger fan starting on the mound for the Dodgers. Flaherty in Game 1 of the National League Championship Series against the Mets, if you recall, 7 scoreless. But in Game 5 of the National League Championship Series, he was roughed up for 8 earned in 3+. The question coming into tonight was, which Flaherty were you going to get? We got the Game 1, or at least close to it. 5 1/3, 5 hits, 2 earned, 1 walk, 6 Ks. Did allow a home run, but Dodgers pitchers struck out 13 Yankees. Again, compare that to just the 4 strikeouts from Garrett Cole and not a 1 from the bullpen. Probably tells you all you need to know. Again, Yankees whiffed 13 times tonight, 3 of them for Aaron Judge, who goes 1 for 5 and strikes out 3 times, now hitting just 167. His 3 Ks tonight, he has now struck out 16 times in 36 postseason at-bats this year. Simply put, just not good enough. All right, we talked about the starting pitchers, and we talked about, obviously, Flaherty and Cole. We talked about the decision of Aaron Boone to pull Cole in the 7th. Cole made way for Clay Holmes, who got incredibly lucky. 2 pitches, really, to turn around the inning. Kike, the sacrifice bunt, which, of course, everyone was killing Dave Roberts for. 2 on, nobody out. He lays down the bunt, gives up an out. The next pitch, Will Smith pops out on the infield. So, really, 2 pitches turned what looked like a beginnings of a disaster for Clay Holmes. Well, he gets out of it. And that was key right there in the 7th inning. Also worthy of note, here's an interesting stat. The winner of Game 1 has gone on to win 75 of the prior 119 World Series. That's 63%. That includes 23 of the last 29. So again, in the last 3 decades, more than 2 out of every 3 teams wins the series after capturing Game 1. All right, we said Judge and Soto struggled. Soto was 1 for 3 with a couple of walks, so he was on base 3 times, did score a run. However, had a chance to put the hammer down, did Soto and Judge, and neither could come through. The same cannot be said for Giancarlo Stanton, who, despite just 1 hit tonight, made it count. The 2-run shot came in the 6th inning. It was a bomb, and it really felt like the Yankees had, at the same time, captured all the momentum and deflated the entire stadium. Little did we know the Dodgers would tie it in the bottom of the 8th, and then obviously send everyone home happy in the bottom of the 10th. All right, as we said, Jazz was great. Cole was great. Stanton was great. But on Juan Soto's 26th birthday, which was today, there were some that were not great, and we'll talk about it for sure. All right, you can now win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. Prize Picks is the best way to get action on sports in over 30 states, including California, Florida, Georgia, and Texas. Prize Picks is the only real money daily fantasy platform with an injury insurance policy, so your lineups stay in play even if one of your players gets injured. If your player leaves in the first half and doesn't return, Prize Picks keeps your lineup live. Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action. Join over 10 million users and sign up today. Sign up today, get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Download the app today. Use code LOCKEDONMLB to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, again, run your game. We are back. Segment number 2. Yankees lose to the Dodgers in Game 1 of the Fall Classic. Final score 6-3 in 10. In case you missed it, Freddie Freeman, a walk-off grand slam on a hobbled ankle. The stuff legends are made of, for sure. And we all thought that legend was going to be Giancarlo Stanton, who continues to impress and flourish here in October. Yes, that home run came in the 6th inning. Plenty of time for the Dodgers and Yankees to pad to their offensive numbers. However, it really felt like the Yankees stole all the momentum with the Giancarlo Stanton home run. Unfortunately, it wasn't meant to be. We talked about the prowess of Jazz tonight. Those 2 stolen bases were key. Defense, running the base paths, and infield pop-ups and relay throws seem to be a problem for the Yankees. We'll call it 3 triples. It was really 2.5. We'll explain. 3 triples. The first one, Verdugo botched the play on Freeman's triple. The second one, Soto misplaced the play on Kike's triple. That was followed by a Will Smith sac fly that actually got the Dodgers on the board first, 1-0. Then in the 8th inning, so that's 2 triples that were really doubles played into triples. Shohei in the 8th inning, the double into a triple as well. The ball gets away from Glaber on the infield, and that was a monster mistake by Glaber, who was then pulled for Cabrera for defensive purposes at second base. However, there was the Freeman triple, the Kike triple, and then Shohei turns a double into a triple because of the Glaber play. So defense poor. And obviously Jay Cousins and Nestor Cortez, who ended up throwing, get this, just 16 pitches in the 10th inning, and they played 4 runs. Cousins takes the loss through just an inning, a third of an inning, obviously coughs up 2 of the earned runs. 2 of the runners on base were his. 2 of them were Cortez's. And who knows if we're going to see Cortez moving forward at this point in time. As we told you, Cortez was making his first appearance, hadn't pitched since September 18th. And we found out just a couple of days ago that he was willing to put next season on the line for a shot at the World Series. Well, he technically put that on the line, and he gave up a huge home run through just 2 pitches, both for strikes, including the meatball that Freddie Freeman hit very far, over 430 feet for Freddie Freeman. Again, 6-3, the final score. Shohei was 1 for 5. And if you were looking for one of those big bats from the Dodger lineup to provide a spark, well, they walked Betts. Well, first, we'll take it in order. First, Shohei pops out to left. Verdugo makes the play. This is in the 10th inning, of course. Then they walk Betts. So Shohei and Betts were not going to be the ones the Yankees let beat them. Unfortunately, there's only so much you can sidestep the Dodger lineup. Freddie Freeman, despite the ankle, comes through, and you can bet a week off for Freddie Freeman came in handy. Get that ankle right. He was not limping tonight at any point, played a solid first base, and of course comes through in the clutch. Yankees now trail the series 1-0. And as we said, the winner of game 1 has gone on to win 75 of the prior 119 World Series. That's 63%. That includes 23 of the last 29. All right, the Dodgers, who have made the postseason 12 consecutive years, an amazing number. 11 of those 12 have featured a division title, but the only championship came in that stretch, the abbreviated 2020 season. The last time they won a 162-game regular season World Series was far back, 1988. The Dodgers, however, have played in 4 World Series in the last 8 seasons, and that includes the win in 2020 in the COVID year. All right, Giancarlo Stanton, at this point in time, perhaps with the exception of Soto, who had those huge hits in the championship series, it looks like the only one hitting is Stanton. And that's going to be a problem. Despite that, let's talk about his numbers because they're incredible. 11 career home runs in 26 games at Dodger Stadium after his 2-run home run in the 6th inning, which, by the way, was only 412 feet, but I swear it touched space. Man, that was a skyscraper. And 117 off the bat, as we said, in the StatCast era, the hardest hit ball in World Series StatCast era history. The last 5 postseason hits for Stanton have all been home runs. He has homered in 4 straight games. We love Soto. We love Judge. But where would the Yankees be without Giancarlo Stanton? We'll take our final break of the night, come back and hit our third segment. We'll set you up for game 2 of the World Series, which of course comes your way Sunday night. All right, listen up, NFL fans. Now is your chance to start the season with a big return. Yep. You can do it with FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. So here's what you do when you have a hunch in the middle of the game. Go over to FanDuel, check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more. The best part is it's all on the same page where you place your bets. Everything is right there for you. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets, guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. That, of course, is FanDuel.com. That's FanDuel.com. All right, we're back. Final segment of the show. 6-3, the final score in an absolute heartbreaker of a loss for the Yankees, who looked like they were really close to putting the hammer down and taking a 1-0 series lead on the road and grabbing home field advantage back from the Dodgers. Instead, Nestor Cortes throws 2 pitches, a strike and a strike. The second strike is a souvenir now. A grand slam over 430 feet from Freddie Freeman, a walk-off grand slam. So amazing, in fact, it is the first, pay attention, folks, the first walk-off grand slam in World Series history. And as we mentioned at the top, worthy of repeating as well, 3 straight World Series game 1s that have gone to extra innings. The last 3 years, game 1 has gone to extra innings. All right, let's briefly discuss once again the starting pitchers, Garrett Cole, Jack Flaherty. We told you Flaherty grew up a Dodger fan. Cole, despite the fact that he grew up in California, of course, was a Yankee fan. Who could forget the sign as a kid? So we had a Yankee fan pitching for the Yankees, opposing a Dodgers fan pitching for the Dodgers. Pretty cool stuff. That might be the first time that's ever happened. Regardless, it was a well-pitched effort from the starters. And as we told you, in the American League Championship Series and the National League Championship Series, no game featured both starters going at least 5 innings. And we got both starters going at least 5 innings tonight. Cole pitched into the 7th through just 88 pitches, and there'll be plenty of discussion for Aaron Boone and plenty of answers, I guess, from Aaron Boone as to why he did not leave Cole in. Cole threw, as we said, 88 pitches, 61 for strikes. That is an amazing number, for lack of a better term, just an amazing split there through just 17 balls. Another reason there might have been some leaning towards keeping Cole in the game. They did go to Clay Holmes. He got out of it. So did Tommy Kahnle. So did Luke Weaver. However, Cousins and Cortez were left, and they could not get the job done. All right, let's set you up now for World Series game number 2. Right back at it for the Dodgers and Yankees Sunday night. Carlos Rodon, who has been pretty good in the postseason so far, goes up against Yoshi Yamamoto. He's been pretty good as well. Dodgers heavily favored, minus 140 on the money line. The total is 8.5, a little higher than it was tonight, obviously. With Cole on the mound, that number is going to be low. Again, 6-3 the final score as the Yankees lose in 10 innings. Game 2, again, 8:08 first pitch from LA. Shadows will not be an issue. Rodon and Yamamoto. Yanks trying to even the series at a game apiece. Dodgers trying to send it to New York for games 3, 4, and 5 if necessary, assuming the Yankees don't pull off a Game 2 victory. All right, thank you for making Locked On Yankees your first listen today. Now go check out the Locked On MLB podcast. Prepare for the Fall Classic with Sully. He's got it all covered every single day. You can find the link to Locked On MLB in the description, so you don't need to search. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. Before we get out of here, also want to mention our partners in crime over at Locked On Yankees. That's Stacey Gatsoulias and Brian McKeon. They handle all the stuff again at Locked On Yankees. They're the best. Follow, subscribe, and enjoy. As we said, a killer of a loss, a gut punch of a loss, a heartbreaker of a loss for the Yankees, who carried a 3-2 lead into the bottom of the 10th. But Cousins and Cortez, the combination, could not get it done. And now the Dodgers will send Yamamoto to the mound in Game 2, while the Yankees go with Carlos Rodon, who's pitched fairly well this postseason. Should be fun. Again, 8:08 first pitch, the postcast right here on the Locked On Sports New York channel, and of course, the Locked On Yankees podcast feed as well. We will see you tomorrow night.